Welcome to the stream. This is very exciting because yesterday I was very depressed because my project wouldn't load after restoring from a backup. Got that working, but in the meantime, while that was working, I started redoing, making a new version of the items module, and that's exciting. Because, of course, new versions are often better than the original versions. And that is what is going to happen here. Working on the code right now. We got some inspector stuff going on here. And I'll walk you through it all once I figure out this bit of code. I'm trying to do a lot with link here. And it's new. Hey, the bull. It's new to me, and so I got some pretty cool queries with link going, but I am still trying. And in this case, I am trying to get a list of the item attributes that can be had by this object from the item attribute array. And I think any is what I want, but maybe not. Any where maybe it's where this object can get attribute X. That's what I was thinking. But then it doesn't seem to work. It says bool cannot convert source type to bool, so maybe any gives us a bool. Let's see. Link Unity 3D link any. Let's go to Jason Wyman's page. What's up? I don't know. Today is the last warm day of the summer, you know. At least it was here. It's very depressing. I mean, I'm being a little dramatic because the next 10 days are all between mostly 77 and 66. A couple in the 60s, high 60s, a bunch in the mid to low 70s, and one that's a high of 81. The lows are getting down as 48 degrees though, so cold at night. Excuse me for sniffling. And that means summer's over. Now, I did take advantage today and sat outside Starbucks, and I e-biked all around for a while. Yes, refactoring big time. Not just refactoring, redoing, Jack. Redoing. Redoing. So, Link, you can do multiple things, which is interesting to me. And so what I'm trying to do here equals, I guess I could say var items that can be had equals the item attribute array any, I think any, but maybe where's any? What's take? Oh, maybe it's take I need. No. Not sorting. tell you if any object in the criteria returns true or false. That's not what I want. Let's see if this filtering. Where? See, I'm gonna have to learn all of these, or at least learn where to find them. Where? Aha! Aha! That was the trick. So let's see if it worked, and then we can look at the magic that happens. Okay, well, we got some blank ones there, and that's weird. But hidden, huh? So that shouldn't be the case. Once I figure this out, I'll walk you through what I did so far. Huh. Special, hidden. It's supposed to have gone through all of these and fixed their stuff, and that would have said the name here, quest item. How come it didn't? Close this out. It's supposed to do that at the top of this validations. I should do it on validations, not wherever I was doing it. Check object types. So it's supposed to go through all the item objects and check the, oh, I didn't check their item object dot check name. I need to check name too. And then I can get rid of both of those because those would be included here. So now those names should just pop up. Ah, there it is. All right. So, all right. So this is what I did. It's very exciting. So I decided that Jason Storey's his suggestion about attributes and prefixes and suffixes being attributes, decided that was an interesting idea. It took a couple days for me to really think about it, and I didn't really actively think about it, just wait for the brain to figure it out. I kind of thought about it. But I like the idea that a prefix and a suffix could be an attribute, because he had examples of other attributes like rarity and condition and other things like that. And I thought that is kind of cool. I can imagine other people who use the modules might want that kind of functionality. Now, you could have gotten that through the dictionaries, but it would have been easier through the attributes. His examples were spot on. Obviously, he knows what he's talking about for the most part. Most of the time, I'm sure there's a few times where he doesn't know what he's talking about. He probably doesn't point those out, though, in polite company. But in this case, he definitely knew what he was talking about, and I like the idea. So I thought to myself, okay, how would I go about doing this? And I thought, one thing I never felt completely comfortable with is that the items in the existing modules were not themselves scriptable objects. The prefixes and suffixes were, but not the items. And I thought they should be, because on the stream on Sunday, on the Game Dev Show stream on Sunday, this is the Jason Storey show, and I'm his sidekick, essentially. on Sunday, Uri brought up something about, he said something about that he uses scriptable objects to hold data, blah, 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 stuff like that. Forget the exact quote. But as soon as he said it, I thought to myself, yeah, that's a good idea. Like, because the scriptable objects can hold all the data they want. And as soon as you connect your in-game object with this scriptable object via some unique ID, you have access to all that stuff. And I was like, that's pretty cool. So, so I decided to do that. So I started by saying, okay, item object. First, I want to separate the current version of the modules with the new one. I didn't want to overwrite things, so that if you happen to be using it, I don't know if anyone is besides me, but if somebody is happening to use it, I don't want to screw their project up. So I create item objects and item attributes. There are scriptable objects. So there's an item attribute and an item object. Item mod and items are both from the original version, so they will be deprecated. I no longer have a concept of items, a bucket that contains a group of item objects. Instead, we have item objects and item attributes. Now in the demos, I just got them separated out here, and then they have different parents here. And this is unique because this controls the type. So here we have a dagger. It's an item object of type weapon. Now if I moved this to here, to the race, then you would see item object of object type race. It's not listed, but it's called object type. And so rather than having a user spell out what the type is, it's just taken by the organization of the scriptable objects themselves. Now I thought that was pretty snazzy, because you can still have multiple areas where different scriptable objects exist, but this way you don't have to spell out the types. I don't have to worry about managing that. It's just all there. It's an item object, and it's the object type is weapon. Now the UID is here. You can do the copy. That's on all of these. And what's exciting about that, it's a little chaotic on this thing, but it inherits from this, and this has the header, which has the UID code. And so that in the footer for the show fold inspector, or part of that, all have the same code based on that. So now my editor's code over here doesn't have to say all that necessarily. It can be a little bit smaller than it would have been otherwise. I do have to fix that fact that this doesn't seem to be holding. It should, but it doesn't seem to be. So now to create a new, let's say you wanted to create a new class, and you go to create game modules, create item attribute, and you could name this class a I don't know, villager. So now you have a new item class, villager. What's really cool is your item object. Oh, this is an item object, not attribute. Delete. Let's do a different race. Okay, let's say you can also just copy another one and rename it. Create an item object, and we'll call this Dragonling. So it's like or even better, a Ratman. So now you got a Ratman as a race. And when you go into here, you can see various item attribute types. So you've got no available attributes. But if you start turning these on, then you can now select different attributes available to that. And so the way you would use that is like with spell books. I think, can I do multiple? Yes, I think. We'll see if it works. You could do magic spells and then go through and just select all of these. Didn't seem to work on all. That's too bad. I mean, I need to build a copy and paste, I think. But you can select the magic spells and then toggle all of those on. And so that means that this cleric's book can have these attributes, which is pretty cool. It will make it easier using Link to isolate attributes later on in the loot module, which has to be rewritten to go along with this. So that's the idea there. Um, and yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So you can imagine that a weapon like a dagger might have, suffixes and specialties. It could be a quest item. Might have all these. Could be have a rarity of all of these prefixes. All these prefixes. I mean, honestly, this might have everything. Cast a spell if you use it, but maybe a dagger can't be used like that. But these could be different conditions. So I need to organize this differently because this is just turns into a long list. But it makes it very easy to select what it could be, and then you could easily just add new ones. So if you add a new condition, and let's just copy this one, and we're beyond repair, and go back to our weapon, dagger. We need to fix that. You can say beyond repair, so no magic spells, but it could be a quest item. So maybe there's a quest item. Maybe there's a dagger that can't be unequipped too, which would be kind of interesting. So you could set that up as well. So relatively easy to add new attributes, to add new things, and then you can simply call on the scriptable object things like has attribute, pass in the attribute. Now I think on there's going to have to be an in-game object that can be serialized, and so maybe it's going to be called game item or something like that. And I'll have to figure out how to work that with the UIDs, because everything has a UID, and those are what you serialize. So, instead of saying these are the items in my inventory and having a list of item objects, you'd have a list of UIDs, and from that, using, I suppose, link, you can then populate a at start you can populate a list of item objects. And so we'll figure that out when we get to that point. But there's a couple things here that are annoying me. First of all, the fact that every time this comes up, I have to click that. So now I'm going to start fixing up the script. The other thing is, if any of you happen to know how to get the width of this window, it's been very frustrating. I've been trying to do it with editor window .position .width, but oh, look at you, Jason Storey's here. Jason, I've been using link a lot, so thank you for leading me there. If I say private in float width, so width, I don't know why it says cannot access non-static property position in static context. I'm not sure why this is a static context. I no matter where I put it, it's a static context, and I really want to get the width of this so I can make a fancy script that makes a number of columns, so that they're not just up and down, they're also left and right. But can't figure that out. So if any of you happen to understand why the heck I can't get the position in this context, please let me know. It's just a thing that I want to do. What? What is this, you say? Editor GUI dot get control rect. Oh my gosh. well. See, this is where the forums can lead you astray. I looked at the forums and they kept telling me this other one, which probably works in some context. Oh, look, it says it twice. That's interesting. I wonder why. Well, that part works. I'm not sure where it's saying gain 1 from, though. Huh. I wonder, this must be... I don't know if it's also doing it up here on the higher up one. So let's make this get width. Editor window width, and we'll call that actually set editor window width. And then we'll print that there. So maybe it was because no. Why is it width 1? I was thinking about that too, especially for the available attributes, just columns for each type with a horizontal scroll bar. That'd be a new thing I've never done before, which is always daunting and sometimes exciting. Why would it be having this called twice and width being called twice? Doesn't make any sense to me. Let's see if the internet knows. I'm not using a new system, as far as I know. That's not what I asked for, is it? I guess it is. Whoops. All right, then I'll do this. If that's what's going on, then I will say it's a bit of a hack, but we'll do this. Var this width equals that, and if this width equals 1, return. Otherwise, this width. listen to. How about that? Repositories. Are you talking about open source repositories? I don't know about that. All right, there we go. So for the attribute types, I don't want it to scroll, but I do want it to go with the window width. So types. Well, it matters for this editor script, I suppose. I'm trying to make columns. So that if you make it wider or narrower, you'll get columns instead of just one list here. So it would be I don't know, Jason. I think it matters, but because these are scriptable objects. Now, I would imagine that there could be a way to import and export to various formats. So if you want to store this stuff on a Google Sheets or JSON or something like that, you could do that, I suppose. I don't think so. The item object is just going to store a bunch of data, and that's what the point is. You know, and then there will be an in-game object types like a game item or something like that, which would store the reference scriptable objects, which item it is, all the different attributes scriptable objects that are attached to that item. And that's what gets serialized at runtime. That was what I was thinking. There we go. Now, of course, because I have this box, it doesn't quite work. What did I break? What did I break? I went to an escape room once, and one of the puzzles was all about the math order of operations, and none of us smart people knew what the order of operations were. We didn't remember that. True. I suppose there probably is a way to create that, but my goal was to make it easy enough just to go create item object and have Jason's crossbow as a weapon. That was the goal. And then have another, I haven't gotten there yet, but a window appear that would let you do all of that as well with buttons, so that if you chose to not right click, is that you could just say new object, new attribute, and select these in that view instead, essentially. That was the thinking behind that. There you go. I don't know what this means. I guess I am using IM GUI. Ah, I know. I know what my mistake is. I never end the row. I need to make sure the row ends. Right here, we have to say if column counter does not equal or is less than columns, then we have to end the row. No? No? Ah. Should put this up here. Geez, that time I was calling it twice. There we go. And then this I want to do it differently though down here, because I want to, I guess, organize it by it's just a very long list of things. So I think this is a decent opportunity for a horizontal scroll area. I've never done a scroll area that I know of, but let's do it. So I'm gonna have to get a list of well, I know the active ones. All right, let's start with begin scroll editor GUI layout begin scroll view. What are my options? I'm going to just save a scroll position, I guess. Okay. Scroll position equals spell things wrong. Here, editor GUI layout to end scroll view, I suppose. Probably. Getting controls one positioning before only one control when doing repaint. I wonder what that means. Alright, then we will do this. We will do for each string attribute item attribute object type in this object dot and object types begin row, start row I mean, and end row. For each one of these we're going to say start column, start vertical, start vertical, and end vertical. And we're going to do a label, or actually a button, I suppose. If button item attribute object type object type. Okay, let's see what that does. I need to make this narrower if I want to see the scroll. Hey. Wait a minute. I guess I should do the height, or the width rather. I gotta specify that. Column width. Because I want to see if it horizontally scrolls. It does, look at that. Perfect. Well, that was easy. And then we will, under each one, do this. Item attributes that can be had. Equals where x x dot object type equals item attribute object type. Aha. Ooh. That's the first time I've done a link query with more than one argument here. So this should get, from all the attributes, only the ones where the object type is the one we're dealing with, and only the ones that we can actually get based on the one selected up here, essentially. And then stick that there. That should give us a column. Ooh, it does. Look at that. That's nice. Gray. All right, and so if we I guess I don't need to make this a button. I was going to make this a select all button, but is that a little overkill? Click it and they all turn on. I feel like it's a little overkill maybe. So we can do label true, make it bold, and no ifs indeed there. screw. Oh. Just got the order wrong. Now I want a copy and paste button too. Oh, I also want to fix that damn other bug that was annoying the hell out of me. The whole selecting doesn't keep your selections up there. It's probably because I'm not saying dirty. So I do have a new set dirty. What? Don't I have dirty here? Somewhere, one of these. Set dirty. Ah, begin change check and end change check in set dirty. Okay. Put in placeholders. Begin change check and if end change check, then script for this object. What am I looking for? End change check. Set dirty. What's it looking for? Cool. Whether we set dirty. Yes. Void end change check. I guess we just do this. And that will also set dirty. Okay. Is that what's going on here? Because these are where it should be saving. Oh, but this is the editor script, so maybe it's just not saving there because it can't. Yeah, that's probably why. I need to do... Nope, I always do that. Why do I always do that? I need to move these to here, I guess. Here, put them to this object dot. What confuses me is I already have a reference to the script from the script, which is essentially target, but that wasn't allowing me to access everything on the actual script. So I had to do it again here. I'm not sure why, but now they both work. Okay, let's see if that works now. Good. What does this mean? Gain control one's position in a group with with only one control when doing repaint. I don't know what that means. Customary 55, unpublished editor, 131. I don't know what this means at all. No one knew. No one knew. Different language. I just don't know what that means. I could do it every time. Huh. Something about this line. I don't know. I'll ignore it, I guess. Alright, so that's cool. Now I wanted a copy, right? Because I can do that now. That's good. That's just going to frustrate me. Somebody's going to write a 1-star review because of this. Alright, so I need a copy option. Actually, I want to do a couple things. Alright, I want to do a couple things. I want to show some totals up here. Oh, and change that so it's white, not gray, because it still looks like it's unselected, in my opinion. There we go. So, item attribute types. Types plus this object dot attributes dot count. even better. Do this instead. See, I wish it would just automatically go right there. Attributes. Let's see if that looks okay. I need to make it more than 150. Oh, I need to set these to something. 180. Cool. Now if you have those turned off, you can still see that there's 5 types and 22 possible attributes. Oops. Oh, that's an interesting one. I have to, when that turns off, these should be removed. I suppose. And then undos. Need to add undos to all of this actually. I guess I could put this underneath or up here. Maybe that's what I'll do. I will not put it here. Not put it here. Instead, I will put it here. Let's see what that looks like. It needs to be inside the box. Probably underneath, I guess. So do that. That should work then. All right, now I need a copy button. So this will just remove everything and then copy it, I suppose. So start by saying item attribute object types equals clear, and item attributes dot clear, and then we need to get item object name. We need to get that item object, so that would be get item objects, get item objects, object array dot where or first or default x dot object name equals that, and pass that into it. Cannot do that. Oh, can. We just need to change this to take in item object instead. Copy item object. And I guess we don't have to clear it then either. I don't think, because it just replaces it right there. So if that works, then let's see, copy, paste. Does work. Maybe we should paste the settings too. Show item attributes. That way, when we go down here, say paste, it spits it all out too. So you can see that pasted it. That makes it easy. Assuming that they can all be that. I don't know what this means. It's very... I don't know what this means. Feel like it's related to my special columns. Columns. So if I just remove this, will I still get that error? Nope. Oh, yep, I do. Oh, I removed the wrong section. That explains that. Still need to add undos. Should also add a clear button. Alright, so it's definitely related to this section. Haha, to not derail me too much. Okay, hold on. Is it something that I can install into this project, like, and it won't mess things up or anything like that? No one minds a 2-hour impromptu lecture. I don't think. Alright, let me try to solve this first, because this is freaking annoying. It's something to do with this damn button. And I'm not sure what. If I just hard code it to 150, does it still do it? Yep. Alright, so it's not about the position. Let me just confirm that it's the button that's causing it. Well, that's something very different. That's what I thought, but now I just removed the buttons. Yeah, I don't think that is. Let me do something else. Bool row started equals false. We'll just make this really explicit here. Row started equals true. And then row started equals false. And then right here, if row started, then we'll end row. So instead of trying to do the maths on the counter. No, see, it's not that. It's something to do with just either the combination of these two together or something about these buttons. I go here. See, now it only says 1. I'm not sure. If I go out to 4, what does it say? Only ones. I'm not sure. I thought it was something to do with the end rows, but I'm not sure. So now I'm always saying that when I end and saying this when I start, so that at the end I can end it. And it specifies the buttons, by the way. The error always leads back to the button. And if I comment out the button, I think... What happened when I commented out the button? What happened? I don't know. Yeah, I got a different error instead about the scroll. about the scroll position. Yeah, but I'm not. That's where I'm like, this is a vector 2, and this is a vector 2. Do I have my end at the right place? End scroll. Right down there. So I have the begin here, end here. Maybe I need to do the start row on the outside of it. In their example, I think the start row was the outside. Nope, that clearly didn't work. Well, this only shows when I don't have any buttons up here, which is, I think, is interesting. When I have buttons up there, then it doesn't show. So, I don't know. So a whole lot of aim going on here. What happens if I get rid of that? That really freaks out. Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll ignore it for now. Alright, let me check my email. Be right back. Back. All right, item examples, huh? Interesting. I have a bug in your code. Let me do that. I am using 2019.4 currently. So my thinking here is I get what we're doing. I get that you can drag a text file here, and then I'm guessing it will populate that. And maybe if you don't have a text file here, none provided. But then if you do, actually, let's reset this. Let me guess. Well, seems to be. So I'm assuming that when you load that, it loads it down here and lets you do stuff with it. And that's cool. However, what I'm concerned about is too many options, too many ways of getting stuff in might confuse some folks. That's okay. So, like, I'm wondering if it makes sense to, instead of having it structured like this, have an import-export function where you can import the data in some structured format and export in some structured format like JSON or something. Because essentially, if you just give me a list of words with another word, like a type, because type matters and that matters where you put it, then technically you could import a text file and the script could then create it for you. Yes. True. I don't know. I understand the power of it. I think. I just I feel like that's just overkill at this point. Ha! We used the same word. I'm assuming you didn't even hear what I said before you typed that, so. Well, great minds think alike. Yeah, I think it, to me, it makes more sense to keep the structure the way it is, and instead have a method of importing and exporting other structures. So you could technically export this to a database. You could export these to a database. You could import them, but keeping in mind that there could be more than just the names here. I'm going to be adding much more to each thing. Oh, that's the old one. Oops. Yeah. God damn this. What the WTF? What the WTF? It almost makes a fella wanna just not do the columns trick. My interpretation of the demo was that it was loading everything. But then an end user would need a connection to the internet, right? To get the download? I definitely think my target audience for this is more the indie hobbyist developer, and not likely the person who's going to be serving hundreds of thousands of items from a database, I think. I see. All right. So, aside from this freaking error that keeps coming up, all right, let me... Yeah. And the only... But isn't that essentially the same as just having it preloaded? Because it still has to load the data, whether it's preload or it runs, takes it down. I think I'm going to have to remove the columns. Because of this damn stupid argument exception thing. I like the columns. They work, apparently, but they throw this error, which is not cool. If I have this close, yep, I still get the error. Yep, the error has to do with these buttons. Button. I would think that that functionality could be built in a different way. Like outside of my modules. I still have to put in undos. Alright, screw it. No more columns. No more columns. No more columns. Bye-bye columns. Revisit another day. All right, undos. Where's my undo code again? Do I have undo code? Undo.record object. Okay. Well. Yes. I do imagine that, hopefully, after this change, the modules won't change, at least not in any drastic form. I think scope of the modules is important to be not terribly large. The more that I officially support, the more I have to support. And that can be a very big challenge. So instead, I want the modules to be specifically data creation and management. So it makes it easy enough to create data and then to manage that data. That is the goal, so that you can set things up and then work with them pretty easily as a hobbyist, indie developer, or small team working on a project. But it's going to be limited in scope to keep it flexible to some degree, or to a large degree, but also just to not make it so I have to support everything. That's always a challenge. Support is a big challenge. So yeah, my sense is that most people don't envision other ways. They tend to lack vision of doing things different ways. And if I tell them, well, they can't do it like this, or like this, or like this, or like this, then they will get confused. And demand tutorials on how to do it every single way. And somebody's going to have a really big appetite for database, and they're going to say, show me how to do it on AWS. Now, 1 star if you don't. That's part of the concern as well. Yeah. All right. Now I want to add the ability to do dictionaries. And I have to decide whether or not, and stat and skills too, whether or not, oh, no, I need to do one other thing. When you unselect one of these, it needs to unselect all of those. So, show attributes, and I should separate some of this out, or all of this part out. Hey, yes. They shouldn't open the scripts, though. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. They don't open the scripts because it's so amazing that they just say, oh, I don't need to open the scripts at all. Not at all. Well, I'll tell you what. These methods are much skinnier than they were in the past. So, that's cool. All this link stuff, contains, remove all, add. Those are brand new spanking things. So that's exciting. And this is the stuff I do expect them to open up. I would expect people to open up these scripts. The editor scripts, not so much. But at least you can kind of follow along. All right, so the whole point was types. If you can toggle that and if we are removing, we'll remove all of that type and yes, I agree. I fully agree. You should see, I mean, I don't even have examples, but you should have seen my older stuff. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. See, I like to create my own grammar and verbiage. It's, if I do it right, one day I'll get a trademark, you know, like ka-chow or booyah or hyphy. Stuff like that. Remove all. So the other thing I need to remove though is all these other ones. And I think item attributes dot remove where? No. Where x dot object type equals type dot remove no, that's not turn off or remove attribute. Can't do that. X dot, no. Nope. Oh, okay. Well, how about this? I can do it differently. Var current attributes equals that, and then current attributes dot item attributes dot remove all no. No, that doesn't work. Now, think that's what it was this whole time. No, that's not right. Yes, it is. That is right. Let's test it. Yep, that worked. Okay, so now it removes them all. With undos. Alright, good. That just took me a little bit to figure out. Brand new spanking thing. Alright. Oh. Well. Apparently I have a end layout group, but not a begin layout group. Well, 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 well. That happened. Start vertical box, end vertical box. When I turn this off, start row, where's my return? Right here. Ah, wait. That's not right. I think I can just get rid of this. Yeah. But I don't want those showing. So I need to do this. Perfect. All right. Okay. Let me set the rules for these main ones. Show dictionaries and show stats and skills. Stats or skills. Stat or skills. Or skills. I should change that to stat and skills. Not or. Stat and skills. Stats and skills or stat and skills? Stats and skills. Yeah. And show dictionaries. Show stats and skills. Show dictionaries header. Show stats and skills header. Don't need those for now. Dictionaries. Okay. Okay. So, here's the deal. Here's the deal. Paste. I change that to be paste from or paste that way you know what you're pasting. It could be frustrating otherwise. Okay, so the next thing is the dictionaries. And why that's important is because I might need to change that entirely too. Let's have a look. Dictionaries are very simple. Dictionary with key value. Dictionary is a class, key value is a class, dictionary, key value. That's going to change everything on everyone. Sorry, there's a dictionary up. I think this is going to have to be an update that makes people redo everything, because I got to change the way this UID is. And I don't think there's an easy way to migrate. Suppose I could do UID v1, add formerly serialized as, and then we would do public UID equals get UID and private string UID string if string dot is null or white space UID, then return UID. So if it's not null or white space, return. Otherwise, where did I put? What is the code I used over here? There it is. All right. But to migrate it, I would say on create, if we already have an underscore one, then we return, and then if not string dot is null or white space UID v1, then underscore UID equals UID v1. There, return. All right, so now if we do have an old one, then we will copy that. Otherwise, we'll make a new one. I think that would work then. And you do the same for key value. Do I need to change the dictionary at all? I'm kind of happy with it, but could be better, I'm sure. Alright. Do I need to redo it? Don't think so. If every dictionary key value is like an item attribute, already kind of is. Yeah. Okay, so I won't change the dictionary. That's what I've decided. Okay, weapons. Dictionaries. So really, I need to say copy structure and copy content for the dictionary. Dictionaries. Okay, I'll move these down to a different section. Or how about instead? Just do copy. One copy. Two pastes. There you go. That works. Fair enough, William. Have a good night. So, thinking of the best way to handle this. It's going to be something similar to this structure, but better. Similar to this, but better. I think I can put it here. And it's going to just be show dictionary, and I'm going to pass in a dictionary. Oh, I'm in the wrong one. This is the one. Editor version. There we go. So if I go to editor, items editor. Nope, not items editor anymore. Item object editor. Show dictionaries, show dictionary header, and then show dictionary. No. Show dictionary. And this object.dictionary. It needs to be a list of dictionaries. Okay, so it's showing it. Good. Okay. See you in the bowl. Have a good night if you haven't left already. For those of you who are still here, any idea how to get what type was passed in? Like type of object.type get type. So nope, that doesn't work. I'm trying to be able to pass in a method here. So I just add dictionary key object dot add dictionary key is what I'm looking to do, but I don't think it can resolve that because it doesn't know what type it is. Okay, if our type equals type of T, whoops, type of T. Say object equals object as type, or type Getting allergies for some reason. It's annoying. Yeah, I'm guessing so. What is this? T output equals T convert dot change type object. Assuming that's the input type of T. So object. So how, I guess the question is, it can't resolve this, but just to be clear, this is on item object, but I'm passing in this object, which is item object. One of many. One problem of many. Yeah. Yes. Oh. I didn't know you could limit a generic. I'm very not versed in generics, that's for sure. Where T Oh, colon, that's what I was looking for. Can you do multiple? Oops, no, definitely not that. So, some shared base type. Well, let me ask this. Item object and item attribute are both module scriptable object. So if I say module scriptable object, would that work? But the problem is they don't all have dictionary key. Does that mean that module scriptable object then needs to specify that they all need to have that? So abstract void, no. Oh. Actually, is there any reason why I would put it here and not here? Oh, okay. So we need this. This. Okay. Yes. Be right back, everybody else. can I hear you?
I don't know. I can hear you.
Oh, yes, I can hear you.
Cool. I don't. I'll keep this quick. I'll just give you a primer on generic, so because you're hitting a wall here, which is not going to be explained by a line of code. I'll have to reason something through with you.
Sure, let me share my screen so you can see live. All right, there we go. All right. So.
Well, before we get to the specific code, let me just talk you through
Yes.
what your problem is, because I know literally what's going on here and why there's a disconnect. So let's just start with the concept of generics. So generic just means thing, means abstract, conceptual, anything thing, right?
Yeah.
And so imagine you had a collection of animals and you would say, feed the animals, right? What you do when you pass things around in code is it's like saying, okay, I have cats, I have dogs. I can interact with cats, I can interact with dogs, or I can make my life easier and call them all animal and then interact with animal. And that's perfectly fine. The problem you're getting into is your add dictionary key is a boundary line crossing and it's making a presumption. That's the equivalent of saying clean tail. And that's a perfectly reasonable thing to say when talking about a concept, providing you make an assumption that all animals have tails, which isn't necessarily true, right? So that's the problem you're having here is that the fidelity with which generic T is talking about is all things that X. And unless you've got some shared characteristics between them, you can't access that thing. And so if you go down as far as where T is module scriptable object, the presumption is everything that implements T has these features I need. So that's kind of the general point of contracts is that you need to say there are things, some types of things are living creatures, some living creatures can live or die or whatever. Then there's a flying living creature and they can flap wings. And so whenever you're using generic, you have to say T where is at least a living creature or is at least a flying creature or whatever it is so that you can see those things. There's other ways around this where you do some weird funky casting stuff where you can take a T and say, oh, just check if this T a flying thing or is this T living? And that works, but you're getting into this weird territory where for every new hypothetical scenario, you have to try and cast it every time and say, is this an X? Try and do an X. Is it a Y? Do a Y. And the problem is that code doesn't scale because for every new additional T, you have to literally find every place in your code where you check, is it an A? Is it a B? Is it a Z? Philosophically, from a design perspective, your best bet is to reason about things using this wider contract concept of things that can X. And this gets to, without going way too deep into this, what the difference is between an interface and everything else. A base class is I am an X. So back to the example, there are animals, and then flying animals are animals. Now, flying animals might be able to dance, but they aren't a dance. They are an animal that's a flying animal. And the problem with that is it's a single chain of hierarchy. And that's the taxonomy of things are animals, cat-like animals, or and then canines or whatever. And then you've got canines, which are certain kinds of canines, and go down. And then you can walk up that tree and pick any one of them. But with interfaces, they can be literally anything, and those can be multiples. So if you can have a thing which is like a door can be opened and can be broken. A pot can be broken and can be painted. And then you can have a different kind of door or a window which can be painted and opened but can't be broken because interfaces are stacked promises of sets of behavior, not what a thing is. And if you do that, your code starts to open up because you could start to say, okay, this supports T's that are openable but also paintable, and then you can kind of get into these really niche moments where you're never actually specifically talking about a thing. You're talking about a set of behaviors around a thing, and anything that purports to support that can support that. So you could even have something like later on you add a dragon and then you add a dragon's mouth, and a dragon's mouth is technically openable, and a place which was never expected to support that, you can pass in a dragon's mouth, right? Because this is once you've built this relationship of the minimum requirements I need to talk to the rest of the system, everything makes more sense. So with that in mind, now we can visit the actual problem.
Can I take a stab at the solution? That item object here should be I can't have dictionary.
Yeah, I have a dictionary, something like
I
that.
have
Yes.
dictionary. Yeah. And then over here, this would be I have dictionary. So anything that has
Yeah.
dictionary has to implement add dictionary key.
Yeah, but what's even cooler is because you're only using things that are I have dictionary, you don't even need generics anymore at all. You can just use the interface type and say
Mm.
expressly anything where somewhere along its chain it is this. The reason you need the generics are to kind of do a test against another type. But if you're saying the only like so I guess to put it another way, if you're passing in objects which can have dictionary, you can interact with any property of blank plus the fact that it has a dictionary. So if you had something like dragon and then you have the concept of dancing and then a bunch of animals and one type of animal is dragon and there's a dancing dragon, you could say pass in dragons where can dance, and that's only the super special race of dancing dragons, right? But in this case you only need the fact that it's a dictionary. There's nothing else about an object that you need. So rather than having to do any generic stuff at all, you could just say put in this dictionary all things that are dictionaries. If that makes sense, you know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So what you normally want to do is you want to pick what the relationship you have to the rest of the system is, which in this case is I want, like, you know, technically doesn't even need to be a dictionary. What you could say is this dictionary takes in a collection of things that can have keys and values. And then I can say for each thing that I have that has keys and values, do this. You know?
Well, this is an Infinity PBR dictionary, not another dictionary. I don't know if that changes anything. Um,
I was more talking about
but
the T object specifically,
okay,
as opposed to.
okay. So if I'm following you correctly, and I might not be, um, what I need to do next is create a class for this to inherit from called I have dictionary. Is that correct?
Well, I'll put it this way. Are you saying a simpler faction is you're actually technically right what you've got here. If you're saying all module scriptable objects can in fact have dictionary or has a dictionary, then just by putting it in the base class, that works. Just by having that line on line 20, that's perfectly fine. As for the whole question of so you don't actually need anything else. The only problem you were having is that it was the concept of a dictionary was too high up the chain. But if you moved it down, which you have by putting it into the module scriptable object, you'll notice the errors are gone now, right? Because it says,
Yeah.
oh, I have to be a module scriptable object, but module scriptable objects do in fact have the feature I've asked for. It's only if you have a feature higher up the chain, like you have items that can have unique tags, you wouldn't know which of the module scriptable objects are module scriptable objects which can be tagged. That is when you would say, generic of type this where is taggable, right? That's where you'd add that extra behavior. But in this particular instance, as long as any T happens to extend from module scriptable object, I know it has a dictionary key that I can add, and therefore it's fine. You know.
But now I'm also limiting myself, right? Because now it has to be module scriptable. So it
and that's architecture 101. You've fought the core problem, which is every time you make a decision, it's locking you in on one side or another. So this situation you have right here is the fundamental thing that's the entirety of software architecture.
Yeah. So because I could have a thing that has a dictionary that isn't a scriptable object, then I should make an interface instead.
Yes, because in this case, this dictionary will never accept anything that isn't a module scriptable object for all purpose, for all time. Now you've locked that in. But if you instead said where, like, for example, this is another side thing, you have things in your game with IDs, just general IDs, and you use the IDs to look things up. You say, get me the thing with the ID, add this thing with an ID, and whatever. If you have a base class called entity or something, you are forever purposefully stuck with the concept of entities. But if you had an interface called I have ID, then every single time you ever need to interact with anything which has an ID, it can be anything from a scriptable object to a normal script to a normal object to an entity of whatever type. Because all you've said, the only relationship this method has to the rest of the world is an understanding that anything you give me will have this field I need to work with.
Okay. I need to do that here then too. Because same deal. It's always possible. In fact, actually, I did that earlier today. Right here. It was already selected. dictionary has a UID, but I had to duplicate the code because it was here, and the dictionary is not a scriptable object itself.
Yeah, and so you'll get into
Okay.
that weird territory where every possible scenario now has to be manually coded for. But if you instead say anything which supports I can be stored or I am savable or whatever concept you want to make, you could say, oh, you have a new custom type. Well, as long as you mark yourself as I'm savable and then you provide to me via the get ID, whatever you do to get an ID, I know how to talk to you from this point on. And that, to cycle back to the example earlier with the repositories, is all that a repository is. It's me saying, in order for me to show a list of items, let you pick them, let you delete them or add them, my relationship to the rest of the world is give me a thing that can give me items that I can give an item to, that I can take an item from, and I can ask questions about. And providing you, whoever you are, does that, I can talk to you. And then one version of that is a list. Another version of that is a bunch of scriptable objects. Another version of that is a text file. All of these things are just things that promise to me that when I ask for items, they'll give them to me. And if I give it an item, it knows what to do with that. And so all that's interface contract is just me drawing a line and saying, I need this from you to continue doing my job.
Okay. So this is good because I think I talked about this the other day. I've never really used interfaces, and I've always known about them, heard about them, but I've never actually used them, which is a problem probably. So this is a good opportunity to start using them. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot in here. It's a big topic, as I realize I'm now saying every 2 days because it is big topics.
It is, but I'm gonna actually give myself an error. Make this all. No, I'm forgetting the word. We just said the word
Interface or
interface. Yeah, as you can tell, it's getting late, so
yeah,
I'm gonna do that tomorrow. But no, I think what.
I'm just gonna say what's interesting now is now that you're kind of falling into this category, there's like a lot of fun stuff that'll start to make more sense to you. Like when you've heard us say solid principles, one of the solid principles is I, which is one of the most confusing names, which is interface segregation principle. All that really means, now that you should understand it from what we've just talked about, is rather than having an interface called I dragon, you would have I can fly, I can jump, I can eat things, I can whatever. You segregate your interfaces, you stack them together, and so you no longer talk to this composite thing, which is like bringing the bathroom sink with it. You are saying, hey, in order for me to paint wings red, I just need you to give me a thing which both has wings and can be painted. I don't care what that is. It could be a robot with wings, or it could be a dragon, or it could be anything, as long as we understand each other, that the segregated interfaces can be stacked together. And the example with opening is a clean one, because you could say, hey, I've got stuff that can be opened and can receive items. If you give me an item, I will open it and I will give it whatever item it is that I have. And maybe now I can like throw things through windows or put things in crates or whatever. And later on, if I add again like some robot dragon boss you have to open its mouth and throw things into, it still works. Everything, I don't have to rewrite any code, because conceptually every part of that rule stays the same. So that's a big tangent. I don't want to say that something that originally would have sounded scary, like the solid principles and interface segregation, all it really means is this exact principle here. Don't have a thing called stuff with IDs that happen to be scriptable objects, stuff with IDs that happen to be scriptable objects, but just have I have IDs, and that will then wrap around all the other stuff and kind of simplify that entire relationship.
Makes a lot of sense, as Joel says in the comments. So they pointed out earlier that I am just your sidekick, and this is the Jason show. So,
well, from my perspective, I'm sitting here programming, and it's basically a radio for me, right? Because I get to hear the whatever music you're playing on the radio.
That's true.
And I need requests from time to time.
I need to change that music so that it's not all relaxing, and some of it's a little bit more upbeat. Been meaning to do that, but yeah.
You have later. Like over the span of like whatever it is, the 3-4 hours, start with the like more dramatic stuff and actively like lower it down until it gets to the chill stuff by the end of the night.
Yeah, I need a button to mirror my my own awakeness. All right, thank you, Jason.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good one.
You too. I'm going to end this, and then I'm going to end this stream. I made myself an error and a reminder to come back and make this an interface. Um, honestly, this is something I should have done before. I should have known to do before, I think, because I've been talking about interfaces with Jason for a while now, and I've known about interfaces forever. I've used them from time to time, I think, but that I didn't go directly to this, it just shows, again, really the experience level, and I still have some stuff to learn. I was quite happy that I put the UID stuff up here because then it worked on all the other scriptable objects that had a UID. But what I should have realized was that while that concept worked to a degree, it was still not to where it needed to be. But you live, you learn. And Jason, thank you again for your help. Everyone else, thanks for tuning in and watching. I haven't booked it, but I'll probably do this again tomorrow night, although I do have a couple late night meetings, but maybe 8:30 or 9. But yeah, so thanks all. Have a wonderful day or afternoon or morning.